If you know boxing, be honest. There's levels.
In the show, bro. The show.
Good he looks.
He's very sharp. That's all I can.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous. Don't look like he's a 46.
He looks like he's 36 or 26.
Yeah.
Gervonta couldn't hide his shock after watching Manny Pacquiao's intense training for the upcoming Barrios fight. Despite his age, Pacquiao looked absolutely ferocious, moving with blazing speed, throwing powerful combinations, and showing the kind of footwork that made him a legend. In the gym, he didn't look like a retired fighter making a comeback, he looked like a man on a mission. Pacquiao's teammates say he's still got it. During sparring, he looked just as explosive and precise as he did in his prime. One teammate mentioned Pacquiao went 8 tough rounds without breaking stride, maintaining speed, accuracy, and sharp timing throughout. They were stunned at how fresh he remained even during grueling sessions. Far from just keeping up, Pacquiao is setting the pace and turning heads in the gym.
Everybody is surprised, so it's gonna be a good fight.
What's the most impressive? His speed, his power, his footwork?
It's everything, because you don't see him slow down. People say he's slowing down, but he's not. I mean, that's where you're exactly going to be surprised, because he's sharp, really, to be honest with you. He's very, very sharp. That's why I don't want to say anything else, but...
No, leave it at that.
You know,
but how?
I leave it that way, but...
Okay, so let me ask you this. In 11 days, he steps into the ring at the MGM in Las Vegas to fight Mario Barrios.
Yeah.
How does the fight end?
There's a chance of knockout.
Manny,
I can see that.
You can see a knockout?
I'm not going to say what round, but...
Just that Manny wins either way, knockout or decision.
Yeah, I don't think decision. Maybe the decision is kind of... I don't know if it's going to distance, really. Because the way
Manny's
I
that
see
explosive.
everything is... I don't know.
Okay, now let's talk about his son, Jim, for a second. How talented is his son?
He's a very good fighter. You know, he's
Good
going
power.
there.
I've seen him knock people out.
Yeah, he's but power. You know, but right now he's still. You know, we want him to grow more. You know, so to be ready. Actually, he's ready already. So we just want it to work in silence. We keep it down.
What's your message to all Pacquiao fans who are watching this, who are getting ready, who are excited for Manny Pacquiao Barrios, July 19, Las Vegas?
Tune in to this coming fight, because it's gonna be a very good fight.
Don't go to the kitchen. Don't go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Don't look at your phone.
Yes,
because it can happen.
Focus on that, because I know Mario Barrios also is training hard too. Manny also, he trained like there's no tomorrow.
Boxing icon Roy Jones Jr. is all in on Pacquiao's comeback. While others question his age and time away from the ring, Jones believes Pacquiao's work ethic, experience, and relentless spirit set him apart. He calls Pacquiao a rare breed, someone who can shatter expectations. Jones insists this isn't a farewell tour, Manny's still hungry, and he's coming back for real competition, not a nostalgia act.
I would not be able to take credit for beating Pacquiao after he got knocked out by Marquez, because that's not the same Pacquiao. That's not the Pacquiao at the top of his game. But in society today, we'll call that person the best fighter ever. When that's not how that goes. That's not reality. But in the business world, it is, because look how much money he made.
Here we go. Who's greater than me? I said Sugar Ray Robinson. He said Sugar Ray Robinson. How many wins he got? I said he got like over 150 wins. He stopped for me. He said, but who got more championship titles? Me or him? I said, hold on, Floyd. He said, answer the question. I said, Floyd, there's more titles now than then. There was just one thing. That's no fair. Answer the question. I said, okay, you do I not have 28 titles? And I was just like, I don't know. He said, oh, you're supposed to be the expert. But the reason why I said that is because there's minor and major titles. Who else greater than me? I said Henry Armstrong, Roberto Duran. He said, oh my God. said, you said something about Pacquiao. Yeah, I said, I think you'll beat Pacquiao every day of the week, but I think he had a greater career. He said, you ain't think Pacquiao was on steroids? I said, he didn't fail any tests, Floyd. He said, look at me in my eyes. I can't say, man, he didn't say. He said, oh, man, you think. I saw that as a initiation. This is what you about to get. Nobody's greater than Floyd. My thing is, he should feel that way, but you can't expect everybody to feel that you're the greatest, Floyd.
Mario Barrios made his stance clear. He respects Pacquiao's legacy, but not once they step into the ring. He sees Manny as just another challenger coming for his title. Once the bell rings, Barrios says sentiment goes out the window. He's preparing to defend his belt with zero emotional attachment, treating Pacquiao like any other threat to his career.
You know, ever since the fight was announced, I think initially I was kind of just like shocked. Like, man, dude, like, Pacquiao wants to fight me, right? He wants to fight me for my title. You know, I think for the sport, boxing, and I think just sports in general, like Manny is that name. When you think about boxing, right? He's somebody that comes to mind. At least for me, like I've been watching him since I was, I guess, since my earliest memories of boxing. Manny has been a name that's like, okay, like he's the man. And yeah, you know, now he wants to come out of retirement. He wants to fight me for my title. I can't look at it as anything other than, you know, it's just another opponent trying to take what's mine. You know, he's outside the ring. I have, you know, nothing but respect for him, nothing but respect for everything he's accomplished, for the person he is, you know, everything he does, you know, for his country and more. But as soon as we step in the ring, you know, he's in there trying to take what's mine. I'm not training with the mentality, you know, that I'm getting ready, you know, to fight an icon, to fight a legend. At the end of the day, he's just another man, you know, trying to fight for my title. He's going in there trying to, you know, take my title, and I got to do whatever it takes to make sure he does it.
Brian Mendoza respects Pacquiao's greatness but remains realistic about the impact of age. He points out that no matter how legendary a fighter is, time eventually takes its toll. While he acknowledges that Pacquiao's speed and instincts remain sharp, Mendoza warns that fatigue may creep in during the later rounds, a tough hurdle in any high-stakes fight.
I don't. This is an unbiased opinion.
Man, I'm looking forward to it, you know, even just as a boxing fan, you know, obviously coming up, there's always, you know, seeing Pacquiao's fights and stuff, and now to see the homie, you know, going up against him like that, it's wild, man. It's a wild feeling. I know you're more so for him, but nah, man, I just think at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, the age will show up in the fight. I think at first, you know, he's had people talk about the layoff, but it's also a rest for someone at that age. So I feel like he's going to be rested. I feel like we might see, you know, hints of little old Manny, no pun intended, but old Manny. Little bits of flashes of that in there, but I think at the end of the day, man, Mario's super sharp. This is the sharpest I've ever seen him, you know, this far in camp. I'm super excited, bro, and he's gonna put on a great show. I still kind of lean towards like a decision, but regardless, it's Mario's way. If there is a stoppage, I think it'll be in like the second half. Like I said, you know, because I think that's really when the age is gonna show. Because you can look good in the gym, man, but once those bright lights are on you, anything that's wrong will come out. So as much of a legend man he is, I think, you know, he bit off a little more than he can chew with Barrios.
Despite the skepticism, many fans still believe Pacquiao has what it takes. His recent training footage has sparked renewed excitement. Supporters point to his unique angles, relentless pace, and incredible stamina, traits that don't just disappear with age. To them, Manny's comeback is fueled by willpower, intelligence, and the belief that his game is still elite.
Manny Pacquiao returns to the ring against a young fighter, champion WBC, Mario Barrios. How do you see that fight playing out?
Yeah, Barrios is a tall guy, and he's a tough guy. You know, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because Pacquiao is champion, the holder of the records of 8 divisions, and he knows how to fight, he knows how to win, so you always got to give it that opportunity for him to show up. And now whoever shows up in that ring, whether it's a desire to win or just try to be there, that's the question that we have to see. But I believe that he has the ability to do something to win the fight against Barrios.
Analysts say Pacquiao's best shot is to come out strong and fast. Knowing stamina might wane late, they urge him to dominate early, use his trademark speed to put Barrios on the defensive. If he controls the tempo from the start and avoids risky exchanges, Manny could build enough momentum to keep the younger fighter from catching up.
Talking to somebody about Manny coming back fighting Mario Barrios. And this was the analogy I gave. Your timing is just, it slows down. That's time. Time slows you down. And so, to me, I think Manny has to come out very strong, very fast in the first couple of rounds because his gas tank ain't what it used to be. At 46 years old, you come out and let's just say hypothetically your gas is half full at 46 years old. I'd rather try to use that half tank
when I got something
in 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And really get off on this kid because he has the kind of style. Styles make fights. He's got the perfect style for Manny to do what he do. But the further that fight goes, the more that's gonna go down. He ain't young no more when it does this. It ain't gonna do this no more. It ain't gonna go down and then come back up. He not gonna create space, take a deep breath, and that thing shoot up the way it used to. He ain't gonna do that.
Observers have pointed out potential flaws in Barrios' defense that Pacquiao might exploit. With his rapid-fire combinations and unpredictable angles, Pacquiao could break through Barrios' guard. Critics argue Barrios is susceptible to high IQ pressure, and if Manny stays sharp early, he could put Barrios in serious trouble before the fight even hits the halfway mark.
Pacquiao Barrios, bro. Who do you like?
It's hard to know, at the age of Pacquiao, what we're going to get from him, But I'll tell you this. Depending on his conditioning, right? Depending on how much he can pop in on that instep that he brought to me, that notorious fast instep, if he can pop in that instep and if Pacquiao can get in, I know he can hurt Mario Barrios. Defense of Mario Barrios is still suspect. He is willing to get caught. You can catch the kid. It's not hard to.
Questions remain about Barrios' resume. He's been stopped before by fighters who arguably don't have Pacquiao's speed or power. Analysts believe Pacquiao can use that to his advantage. If he pushes the pace and forces uncomfortable exchanges, Barrios could fold under the pressure. With the right strategy, this fight is very winnable for Pacquiao.
Are you cool with Pacquiao against Mario Barrios?
I am. I'm cool with it. If I was cool with Manny Pacquiao coming back and fighting Keith Thurman, I'm definitely going to be cool with this one. Barrios is not a puncher. Thurman was one of the biggest punchers in boxing. I think he's going to be just fine with Mario Barrios, who we know what he is on the top level. He comes up short. He's been stopped by fighters that are less than Manny Pacquiao, Tank Davis. So I like this fight. I think he's not going to be an overwhelming favorite, but I think it'll be a 50-50 fight, regardless of his inactivity and age. His explosiveness, even at this age, his greatness, and the fact that you can never know what Barrios you're going to get. And yeah, man, I like this fight. Why not? Nostalgia, marketable. Everyone will be behind him. It'll be internationally successful. I'm in.
How are you comparing Pacquiao coming back this summer at 46 after not fighting in 5 years to Pacquiao in 2019 fighting Keith Thurman, which came after back-to-back wins over Lucas Batiste and Adrian Broner? Those two scenarios could not be more different.
Many analysts agree, if age wasn't a factor, Pacquiao would be the obvious favorite. Even now, his fundamentals and ring IQ are considered far superior. His sparring sessions show he's moving with remarkable sharpness, delivering crisp combos and agile footwork. Word from his camp is that he's gone multiple rounds without tiring, proving he's still mentally locked in.
Former 8 Division World Champion, now Hall of Famer, Manny Pacquiao is now gearing up to take on welterweight champion Mario Barrios. And this is going to be an interesting fight. Now, I see a lot of people talking about Pacquiao saying that he's a former shell of himself, which he probably is. But make no mistake, 60% Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat on a lot of these young guys. Now, people are talking about Mario Barrios because he beat Udonis Ugas, someone who beat Manny Pacquiao last time out. But styles make fights, and this training footage of Manny Pacquiao training, I don't know. I think Barrios might be in for a long night, especially given his last time out with Ramos.
You ain't lying.
Paulie Malignaggi has his doubts. He acknowledges Pacquiao's elite preparation, but says age is the real opponent. According to Malignaggi, even the best older fighters tend to struggle in the later rounds, where recovery and leg strength are key. Still, he concedes Pacquiao might be the exception to the rule.
Think about, Manny's decision and obviously getting thrown right into a title shot.
When you get older, your legs are not the same. You may have very good legs for a few rounds, but as you drag out a long fight, your legs start to betray you. I felt that later in my career. I would get into shape, but now all of a sudden, around 10, 11, 12, my legs are dragging ass, bro. Pacquiao, having not fought in a while, 46 years old. A lot of tough fights, a lot of wear and tear on Manny Pacquiao. But Manny had 70 plus pro fights. And he wasn't a defensive specialist. A lot of impact, a lot of back and forth impact. He's 46, he had a lot of heavy wear and tear into his late 30s and early 40s. So how are his legs gonna be? That's my biggest thing, because I think, Manny was a range-changing fighter. He was he was that style, in and out. He's not a pocket guy. And an in and out guy needs his legs, and needs his legs the whole fight, unless he lands something big. I will say, I think Mario Barrios, I think.
Barrios has pointed to history, reminding fans that even legends struggle to beat Father Time. He believes Pacquiao could face that same fate, especially in a long fight. Youth and endurance, he says, are on his side. Some critics echo that view, arguing Pacquiao may no longer have the knockout power to finish fights early. Even clean shots might not be enough against a younger, durable opponent.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Manny Pacquiao will actually be fighting Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. If this man comes back and beats Barrios, which, if I'm being totally honest, I don't think he's winning this fight even remotely. I think he could actually get stopped, in my opinion. It's not because Manny's not great or nothing. He's one of the greatest of all time. You could argue that he is the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? 8th division champion. But he's just too old, man. This man is 46 years of age. If he wins this fight, he ties Bernard Hopkins' record for the oldest champion in boxing. That would be crazy, but if I'm being honest, I just don't see him winning. I see him getting stopped, dropped and stopped, if I'm being honest. He is having trouble with Ampo, bro. And Ampo not even a boxer, he a kickboxer. And yeah, I just don't think he'll, I just think he's too old, if I'm being honest. I just think he's too old to win the title. But let me know what y'all think down below, man.
Interestingly, Barrios' own trainer issued a word of caution: don't assume Pacquiao's inactivity is a weakness. He suggests Pacquiao may have quietly stayed in shape, and that his current sharpness might be the result of sustained, off-camera preparation. A rested, recharged Pacquiao could be even more dangerous. Still, critics argue that returning legends often risk their legacies. Pacquiao, they say, has nothing left to prove, and stepping back into the ring could put his historic career in jeopardy.
Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title is being targeted for late July in either San Antonio or Las Vegas on Amazon Prime. And Pacquiao is currently in a Senate campaign in the Philippines in May, but after that he wants to return in the summer for a world title and try to break his own record as the oldest welterweight champion at 46 years old. Now, I have every issue in the world with this. Manny Pacquiao, he's my favorite fighter of all time, but this is just not great for boxing. Pacquiao's last fight was 4 years ago in 2021 against Jordanis Ugas, and in that fight he looked a lot slower, not as explosive, and he got outboxed. And then last year when he was targeting the Barrios fight, he had an exhibition against a kickboxer, Rukia Anpo first, and he looked even slower and even more hittable in that fight. I don't think Pacquiao should be sanctioned to fight a world title fight at 46 years old, and not that Barrios is some scary knockout artist or a pound-for-pound level talent. If there's one champ at 147 that Pacquiao could upset, it would be Barrios. But in all likelihood, Barrios being the younger, bigger guy, he's just going to beat Manny for 12 rounds, probably stop him late. So I just don't want to see the fight. Pacquiao's accomplished everything in the sport. He really doesn't need another fight at 40.
That wraps up today's video.